Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are talking about our next creative writing experiment. This is about magic realism. What is magic realism? There are a lot of different ways to explain this genre, but here's my favorite way of thinking about the differences between fantasy fiction and magic realism. In fantasy fiction, if I was writing a story about a little boy that wakes up in the morning and he rubs the sleep out of his eyes, and he opens up the window and he looks out into his garden and he sees a unicorn, then he would be filled with amazement. He would be filled with wonder, and he would run into his parents' bedroom and say, "Mom, Dad, there's a unicorn!" And he'd pull him out of bed, and he would show them the window, and then the unicorn would be gone. It will have disappeared back into its magical world from whence it came. And maybe that would be what the whole point of the book would be about, is the little boy going on an adventure to find the magical land of the unicorns, and it's filled with sparkles and wonder and things like that. So that's children's literature fantasy. Any kind of fantasy is going to have a sense of amazement and wonder and possibly a very different world from our own. Magic realism is a combination of the magical and the mundane. So it might have 1, 2, or 3 fantastical images. So what do I mean by the magical and the mundane? Well, if we think of that unicorn example, imagine that a little boy wakes up, looks out the window, and sees a unicorn in his garden. Instead of being excited and filled with wonder, he might be kind of bored, and he might say, "Mom, Dad, we've got unicorns again." There are many other ways of describing magic realism, and perhaps much better than what I just told you. So I've included a link to a great article that talks about magic realism from classic authors as well as modern ones. And I highly recommend that you check out some stories by authors such as Gabriel, Garcia, Marquez, and Octavio Paz. So what are we doing for our experiment? Well, as you may have guessed, we are going to try to write something in the style or in the genre of magic realism. So to do this, I'm going to give you 2 prompts. In just a moment on the screen, you're going to see some words. Now, these words are mundane locations. So I want you to choose one of these mundane locations. When we get to the screen, you can pause it if you want, or perhaps better yet, just choose the first word that you see on the screen. Are you ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Did you see all those locations? Well, I hope you chose one. If you didn't, you can go back and watch that part of the video again. Now I'm going to show you on the screen a lot of different words and phrases. These are the sort of magical elements, and so I want you to choose one of these magical elements. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, so in theory, if you were playing along, you have selected 1 mundane location and 1 magical element. So for your experiment, take both of those ideas, the mundane location and the magical element, and create a short scene or a story or a script that combines those two. But remember, keeping in the spirit of magical realism, it should be rather ordinary that this magical element exists. The characters should not be surprised or amazed or filled with wonder. This should just be part of their daily routine. All right, so I would love to know how your experiment goes, and as usual, if you like these videos, please comment, like, subscribe, hit the little bell thing, and I will see you very soon. Thank you for playing along with Writing with Wade.